friends, and welcome to your horoscope for May of 2022, where Virgo, this month your ruling planet is going to go retrograde. We've also got Jupiter moving into the energy of Aries, a full moon lunar eclipse, Mars moving into domicile into Aries, and Venus moving into domicile in Taurus. So it is a going month, and I would love for you to pay attention to the fact that we're going to have about 1 week of energies that are just action-packed for about 7 days. So it makes it really energetically like condensed and concentrated. So as we're moving through the month, and you're looking anywhere from about the 8th of the month until I really want to say about the 20th, right in there, you've got that bit of time that is really concentrated in events that are happening. Most specifically, I would love for you to circle a big fat date around the 10th, because we've got 2 astrological events, one going backwards, one moving forward. So this can always create a little bit of up in the energy. But let's jump in here, Virgo, and see what May has got to offer to the general reading, okay? So right at the beginning of the month, Virgo, on the 2nd, we're going to see Venus moving into the energy of Aries. This lights up your 8th house space. Now, the 8th house being about joint resources, intimacy, sex, reproduction, reproductive organs, taxes, banking, insurance, healing, counseling, places of death where we die off psychologically and live in another way. Sometimes we're dealing with physical death that's also happening in this 8th house. As Venus moves into Aries, the impulse can be, I'm gonna go out there and get it. I'm not waiting for anybody. I'm getting it. It's mine. I desire it. I want it. But a better use of understanding Venus is to attract in what you want. Let Venus be that magnetic attracting energy. So with Aries qualities in your 8th house, what do you think is attractive, that you feel bold, fresh, improved, intuitive, you're ready to initiate something, but it's in this 8th house and you've got to let it come to you. Are you finally ready, Virgo, to accept more money in a specific area of your life that you have maybe a joint resource, whether that's with your work, whether that's with your partner? Are you willing to let more value come to the table? That's a very Venus quality to be thinking about. For some of you, Venus moving into Aries in this 8th house energy, are you pregnant? Are you trying to get pregnant? Are you trying to give birth to passive income? What is happening for you in this 8th house? Now, in another way, I really think that anytime Venus gets anywhere near the 8th house, in the relationships, whether they be work or they be romantic, they be with our partnerships, with our children, with education even, wherever we have made solid, intimate, almost scary commitments to another resource that demand that we grow and stay in constant companionship with them, Venus here brings a little bit of salve, right? It attracts in an energy that reminds us that even in partnership, we are still our own individual and unique selves, and that the partnerships and the commitment that is made through the 8th house is worth fighting for, because on the other side of how that commitment transforms us, there really is gold. So whether that's going to therapy and coming out on the other side, whether it's being pregnant, giving birth to children, whether it is not having a passive or an income stream and we do that, or partnership or intimacy, any of these things that bring that transformational quality, Venus kind of reminds us that the struggle is worth it. And I think that's a really beautiful use of Venus in this capacity. Now, as we get to the 3rd, we're going to see Jupiter and Pluto, who is now retrograde, come into a sextile. What I love about the sextile is, remember, it creates a pocket of opportunity, but then we're also intelligently taking action to take advantage of that opportunity. So here, I ask you, Virgo, what is important to you now? What do you feel like is your honest to goodness purpose that you are willing to strive and grow towards? Where do your ambitions, your motivations, your current level of wisdom give you access to an expansion that maybe you didn't have possible just even a year ago? right? Pluto is retrograde at this time. It also is an indicator that something in the outside world, in our society, in your home structure, something like that has made space for you to take your lifestyle and ambitions forward. Look for the opportunity with this aspect of where you can actually make that leap. Now on the 4th and the 5th, we're going to see the Sun and Uranus traveling together. You can tell we're in Mercury pre-shadow. Okay, we see the Sun and Uranus traveling together in Taurus in your 9th house. And what I want to tell you is expect the unexpected. Whether that feels positive or it feels challenging to you, expect the unexpected. Publishing, marketing, broadcasting, foreign travel, higher education, law, anything that has to do with the legal system, immigration. Expect the unexpected in this particular area. And let me know in the comment section down below what pops up for you at that time. I'm really curious. Now, as we get to the 10th, busy day, big circle on the calendar, please. First, we've got Mercury stepping into its retrograde in the energy of Gemini. Now, it's going to enter into retrograde at 4 degrees of Gemini, and it will do the retrograde between 4 Gemini and 26 Taurus. So this is really the area of your chart I would like for you to take a look at to see specifically what this retrograde is pointing you to. What have you been working on within those degrees? Mercury will start its retrograde, and we will see it come out of retrograde June 3rd at 26 degrees of Taurus. Now it will leave the full retrograde post-shadow time on June 18th, having come back to 4 degrees of Gemini, ready to speed up and move forward. But during the retrograde season, revise, re-edit, reconnect, recommit to what you need to recommit to. Recommunicate something if that's what needs to be happening at that time. It's a cycle where maybe you're like re-exploring your curiosities or contracts that you've made with people, right? Maybe you're even welcoming in having conversations from the past. Mercury retrogrades typically bring things back to our table to bring it to our attention, but also to bring a release or a healing or a freedom to it. Now, if you happen to have Mercury retrograde in your chart, instead of a running in and a full revising from the inside out, you may feel as if you're being called outward. Keep that in mind, because it's almost like a mental homecoming for you, and all of these ideas you've been thinking about, holding on to, stewing over, marinating on, whatever you've been doing, they usually will want to come out during the Mercury retrograde, so keep that in mind. Now, also on the same day, we've got Jupiter taking that move into the energy of Aries. Voila, we've got the big planet in the warrior sign, so you are ready to expand out. We are ready to go. I want to see it. I want to go on a new adventure. I want to expand my horizons. I want to learn more. And the way that I learn is by teaching. I also learn by touching and being in that field. So Virgo, for you, where are you expanding out? We've got this energy here from May until October, and then we'll see it again from December all the way moving through May of 2023. That'll be the second portion of the Jupiter and Aries cycle. But for now, here's your preview. So where are you going? What's getting bigger for you in this 9th house area? On the 16th, we've got a full moon lunar eclipse happening at 25 degrees of Scorpio. Now, the full moon asks us to end something, acknowledge something, make an adjustment, and all of the light in the sky is available to us. So we're seeing it for what it is. Okay, we are seeing it for what it is. We're seeing it for where I'm power struggling with it. We're seeing past power struggles that have presented themselves. For you, Virgo, this is going to light up the 3rd house space of communication, things with siblings, things that have to do with buying and selling, cars, houses, contracts get lumped in here, learning, right? Very much so a mental energy. So Virgo, where have you felt like really, I would love your whole life. You can look at your whole life, but I would love for you to even just back up to November of 2021. Where do you recognize and acknowledge there has been a definite power struggle within you, within your relationships, with your siblings, in your thinking, in maybe even people that you are or are not talking to anymore, and you can acknowledge there are necessary changes that you need to make. There were blockages that have been put up, and they were of your own making. Where are you acknowledging this? Now, this moon is deliciously connected to Mars, Neptune, Pluto, but it does square Saturn. So this is the indicator that there is something that you've got to see under this full moon light and acknowledge your part in it so you can get out of the way of blocking your blessings and allowing the power struggle to fall away. Because remember, we also just had a solar eclipse in Taurus where you were asking to begin something else. You were asking for a different experience in that ninth house. I want to go out, I want to expand, but it also means that maybe there are amends that need to be made. Maybe there is a different line of thinking, a different mentality that's got to come through for you. This full moon lunar eclipse will help to end and ease and show you the power struggle that can be surrendered so that Taurus energy can really grow and blossom. Oh, it's so good. And let me know, what are you acknowledging, Virgo, in the comment section down below? What are you acknowledging under this energy? Because it is not subtle. It is Scorpio. It's the stuff I don't want to show you, but I've got to talk about it anyway. When we get to the 20th, the sun is going to move into the energy of Gemini, bringing light, heat, life, and vitality to the tip top of your chart. So this is about your career, but it is also about your title in the world. What do we call you? What are you known for? Are you married? Are you not married? Did you change that status? Were you married and now you're not married? You know, what do we call you and know you as in public, okay? And as the sun moves through Gemini, we're curious. You can also feel like, even though it's a fellow mercurial energy, it is Mercury in air. So you can find yourself being all over the place where you're like, whoa, why is there information coming all over the place? You could find that people are really talking to you. Maybe you're getting job offers or people are looking for information from you, right? It's really a very busy time, and it speaks a lot to our curiosity. So don't be surprised if at home and work you find yourself getting particularly busy, needing to communicate a lot of information. On the 22nd, we're going to see Mercury, who's now retrograde, move back into that energy of Taurus. So again, I would love for you to grab your chart. If you don't have one, come get one from me or pull a free one and look at 29 to 26 degrees of Taurus. What were you working on in those areas of your chart? Because you're going right back over it. And for some people, I tell you very specifically, do you have an issue with a Taurus in your life? Go back to that. Is there something that needs adjusting? And you may be stepping back into that conversation. On the 24th, Mars comes into domicile in the energy of Aries. It is at home. It is ready to work. It is ready to do things. This lights up your 8th house space, though. The 8th house, intimacy, joint resources, connections, my fears, my passions. Mars in Aries is single focused. This is where I would love for you to focus your energy until July. It's single focus. So in this 8th house of intimacy, of joint resources, connection, healing, right? We getting to the root of things. You're single focused in your action. Just be here. Be present. Put your head where your hands are when you're working on something. Mars in Aries doesn't want to be all over the place. Mars doesn't want to be all over the place anyways, but certainly in Aries, it's very single focused. And the other thing I think you can keep in mind, Virgo, is what you are doing and what you are actually, we can see you doing it. This is a piece of the definition of who you actually are as a person, not what you think of yourself, but what are you actually doing? So are you in action on your projects? Are you feeling like you're developing and initiating something and getting your hands on something or helping someone else to do that? You're a wonderful helper sign. So what is it that you're actually doing? But do it right here. Now on the 28th, we see Venus move into the energy of Taurus, also in domicile, so very, very comfortable. And this can bring accolades, right? It's an attracting in energy. It can bring accolades. People like what you're doing. People like what you're saying. Maybe even you look attractive. Maybe you have a nice sundress or pantsuit. depending on your taste, for a vacation. Whatever it is, Venus is going to bring in that salve here in this area as well. So if you had a legal case going, this would be a phenomenal energy to potentially help you. If you have amends to make, you've got something that you saw, you need to clean that up, Venus is going to likely make people more receptive to you. That is phenomenal information, because if you're paying back debt or you're doing any of those things, it's tough enough, right? You'd like to have a more receptive energy. Now, the other thing I think of with Venus being here is that because Taurus is so much in the material plane, I honestly think that you're being asked to challenge your boundaries about your pleasure principles. Do you have a pleasure practice in your life? Would that broaden your horizons? Does it challenge you to think about going out in the world, expanding ninth house, and charging for your services and teaching people that there can be pleasure in whatever the activity is you're teaching? You know, are you teaching people that there can be pleasure in law, in taxes, in finances, in death, in rebirth? What are you teaching? Because you could also be showing up your pleasure principle in this energy as well. Now, as we close out the month, we're going to end with a new moon in the energy of Gemini at 9 degrees of Gemini, okay? So you're planting your seeds of intention here in your career. What are you ready to go and take on? What are you willing to go speak into the world? Where are you willing to teach and to learn and to grow and to network in order to expand yourself out? What are you curious about? That this particular new moon, as you plant your seeds of intention, is going to help bring the right networking to you in order to help you expand out into your career house. And it could also bring you information that you need to change the direction of your career in some way. So keep this in mind. And please, when I say career, I don't just mean your go to work job, but your title. How does the information you learn at this new moon adjust you as a parent, as a friend, as an employee, as a boss, as a community helper, as a politician, right? Whatever the adjustment is, there's a curiosity and a willingness to gather new information to do it better under this particular new moon. All right, Virgo, quite a busy month. I would love to hear how it's going for you, so please let me know in the comment section down below. Like this video, comment, share, subscribe. I love you a ton, and I'll see you next month. Bye, Virgo.